as we start 2026, as we said in several shows ago, we need to look at our allocations, change our allocations, make sure that our risk tolerance are right, and make sure that our investments are right, and we need to reallocate that and look at it quarterly.
And welcome to Financial Focus, brought to you by the best of the best in financial services, as named by the readers of the Lake City Reporter. 11 straight years and running, and we're into 2026 now, a new year. So I'm sure, John, that'll soon be 12 straight years and running there. We are joined, as always, keeping us financially focused. He is founder and CEO of GulfCoast Financial Services. John Kuykendall here with us. John, always appreciate your time here on the program. And here we are kicking off our inaugural show of the year.
Yeah, Peter, it's another year. I can't believe how fast 2025 went. It was very quick. Seems like we just got started, and then we had the tariffs and all the other stuff going on. And as we go into 2026, I don't think that it's going to be any different from the markets that we've had in the immediate past. We're going to have some turmoil. We're going to have some corrections. We're going to have some upside. So we just have to be ready. We have to be focused, and we can't procrastinate. We got to be on top of this.
Yeah.
It's important.
I think what everybody hopes for, John, is just clarity and confidence, and then some amount of financial control. And we can't control everything, but if we've got that plan in place, we can execute rather than react. And I think that's so important.
Well, planning, Peter, is all about it now. We've talked about this on every show that, in the old days, financial planning used to be about accumulation. How are we going to accumulate assets? And I'm going to have all this money at age 65 and it's going to last me forever. And we've changed that to income planning. And so income planning is the key to our retirement. And we need to start doing that prior to retirement. If you're prior to retirement, you need to start now thinking about how much money am I going to need in retirement? And then let's have a goal to work for. If you're in retirement, we need to see where you are and how much money you have and how your assets are allocated. And we need to make that money last us through the rest of your retirement.
Is that your tip here this week, that the income planning is just as important, if not more, than the investment planning and management?
To me, Peter, the income planning is all of it. Without income planning, I have no roadmap. I have no way of knowing how my money is going to last me through retirement. And our tip today is to get started immediately. Don't wait. You don't have to wait till retirement to do this. We need to do it prior to retirement.
I was just speaking with a couple who were near my age, John, mid 40s, early 40s, and they were asking, are we on track for retirement? That's what you're talking about here, right? They should start income planning at that age.
Yeah, Peter, it makes our job so much easier because we can key in inflation. We can key in what they're dreaming about now. And as they change their minds, getting closer to retirement, we can make those changes in the plan.
Yep, absolutely. Well, every year brings us a fresh set of circumstances and new surprises. So I'm sure 2026 will not be any different, but there are some things that we know for the year ahead. And there's even some silver linings for retirees and pre-retirees that maybe we can take advantage of or look on the bright side of things. And silver, no play on words, that certainly has been one of the things in the headlines here, John.
Yeah, silver's been going crazy. So, I don't know how much longer that's going to last, but you're right. That was something that's happening. It has happened, and we need to be aware of it. Peter, as we go into 2026, Social Security continues to reflect inflation. We get a cost of living raise, and that number, our Social Security checks keep going up. And so though that money becomes more and more valuable to us and becomes a larger amount of our retirement as we continue. And so people out there need to be aware of that 7% step up every year they delay taking their Social Security. I mean, you may say today, I was talking to my son-in-law this weekend, and he's saying, well, Social Security won't be there when I get ready to retire. it'll be there in some fashion. And so, whatever it is, we need to be, the longer we wait to take it, the more money we're going to have coming in for our lifetimes.
And for 2026, that COLA, John, that's 2.8% for those on Social Security and those that are not on Social Security yet. It's not like we have to be claiming and collecting to get the COLA. The whole system adjusts for inflation.
Right. The whole system goes up. It counts everybody. If you're getting a check, you get money. If you're not, it counts into your benefits. It's a great thing.
Yep.
Medicare premiums have stabilized finally. They've been going up recently in the past. Been a lot of pressure on those, and that's created a lot of pressure on fixed income. But they seem to be stabilizing as we look into 2026. And one of the big things that we got in 2025 was the extension of most of the 2017 tax laws. And so we still have those huge deductions and so that we don't have to itemize. And then we picked up that extra for seniors for a little while, but still $6,000 per senior extra deduction on our income taxes is nothing to sniff about.
No, and those 65 plus certainly will appreciate that as long as they get to receive it. And it does phase out at much higher income levels, but almost everyone 65 plus will receive some amount of additional deduction. Thank you to that extra senior deduction. And then if we're not quite there yet, John, if we are still in our growth and accumulation and earnings phase, the limits for contributions have also been increased to reflect inflation.
That's right. Into a 401k, if you're over the age of 50, we get an $8,000 step up. So the total is 32,500, 24,500 if you're under 50. So those numbers will continue to go up. The Roth and IRA contributions you can make are 7,500 with an additional 1,100 if you're over 50. So those have gone up, make it a lot better for us to set aside money. And certainly we need to take a look as we go into 26 as where we are with our deductions and make sure that we're deducting as much as we can. And we should always, Peter, as you know, deduct as much as we can from our payroll to get the maximum match.
Right.
We don't want to let any of that free money sit on the table.
No, it's almost one of the top priorities in your financial progress, John. Capture any match that is available.
Yeah.
Hard to meet or exceed that kind of return on your investment that a free match, even if it's 50 cents on the dollar, 50%, hard to guarantee that kind of rate of return anywhere else.
Oh yeah, when I'm getting free, why would I want to leave it on the table? We need to do that, and we need to, as we start 2026, as we said in several shows ago, we need to look at our allocations, change our allocations, make sure that our risk tolerance are right, and make sure that our investments are right, and we need to reallocate that and look at it quarterly.
And then set it up on autopilot. Make sure it gets done automatically. Automation turns good intentions into results. So get that set up to begin the year so that you are ending the year having done it, having accomplished it. That is what that automation will do for you. John, kind of circling back to your original point on retirement income, is that it is time to execute the income plan, turn from accumulation into execution and income, or even see what that looks like on down the road.
Well, that's right, Peter. If we're planning, we're saving so much set aside, we need to pay ourselves first. And what that means is that if I know that I'm going to need X amount of dollars at age 65, and this is where I'm going, then I should pay myself so that I can get there. Because if we don't do the income planning, Peter, we won't be able to have that roadmap that's going to give us the kind of retirement we want.
What are some of the core questions that we should be asking ourselves as we are mapping out that income, John? I know you talk about the difference between like market-based income or market-reliant income versus guaranteed streams of income. I'm certain that that is one of the big distinctions. But what are some of the questions that we really need to like evaluate to see how solid our income planning is?
Well, first of all, as you said, we need to look at what's guaranteed versus what's market dependent. And we do that with what we call the bucket approach. We've got a cash bucket, a guaranteed income bucket, and then we've got our growth bucket. And the growth bucket's what's in the market. And so we need to look at how our withdrawals change in a down market. As you know, that sequence of return. If I'm drawing money out in a down market, of course, my money's going to go away quicker than if I'm pulling money out in an up market. So if we hit a patch where we didn't have good returns in the market for 2 or 3 years, how that's going to affect my overall plan and how much of my income is actually guaranteed. How long will my income last? How long do I need it to last? When do I plan to retire? When do I have to retire? Some companies have requirements that they don't like you to stay after 65 or 70, even though we can still work longer than that. There are some traditions within different companies,
Now,
and it may be that
pilots, I know, is one. They still
yeah,
don't want you up in the air flying around
well,
commercial passenger liners at too old an age.
if you got cataracts, we don't want you up in the air. And also, limbs tend to cramp quicker when you get older. And so, a pilot's sitting down for a long time. So we want to make sure that they're young and spry. But income planning is the new accumulation. It's the new thing we're looking at. I mean, this income planning is so important. A retirement paycheck brings confidence. The people that retired before us had those defined benefits, and they got a paycheck every month in the mail. And you always thought, the postman was great because they had that good retirement, and they took less money in the beginning to get that retirement. But it will bring a confidence if you get a paycheck retirement. And spending without a plan will lead to fear because I'm afraid to spend because I don't know if it's going to last. So I'm going to run out of money, but I'm afraid not to, because I may not live the 30 years.
And John, I mean, that's why Social Security still today, with all the concern about it, still more valuable than ever.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, Peter, it's amazing to me that 40% of Americans, I believe, still live on retirement Social Security only. I mean, how they do that, but they live very frugal lives. The majority of us aren't that, we don't live that kind of life. We're very active, we're spending money, we're doing things. We don't want to have to cut back. And so we need to make sure that we have that income planning as we go forward to take care of us in retirement. And it's the old analogy of the Halloween candy. Do I give it all out up front, or do I save and then end up with a lot of money left over that I'm going to pass on? That I wish I'd have bought that Corvette.
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
I'd have done the things.
Well, Social Security is an income planning decision, not just a timing issue, but they play into each other. John, what are some of the more common goals or discussions or concerns you're hearing about or talking with your clients about for 2026? What are the important topics we should have on our minds?
Well, Peter, I think that what we need to think about is um, doing well on the financial resolutions in 2026. I think we need to um, do things faster, not procrastinate. Americans have a real problem of procrastinating. I'm gonna do an income plan. I'm gonna make that resolution. I'm gonna lose 40 pounds, but I'm not gonna do it real quick. And so, we need to go ahead and get that planning done. Accountability increases success. The more accountable we are for our income planning, the more we're going to have success. And the thing about it is, one size doesn't fits all. I've got some people that they can retire and be happy on $500,000. I've got some people that on 2 million they might not be happy because they really will spend. And so it needs to be you need to have your own plan. It's unique. It's for you, and you need to make sure that it's your plan. The one thing I'm talking to my clients about is we had a great year last year. And if you're in your 401k and I'm not managing it for you, you need to bring it to me. Let me look at it because you have gotten out of risk tolerance because we have had some things that have really grown. Silver, as you talk, 400% increase. Okay, we may not want to have that much silver risk going into 2026. So maybe we need to make some adjustments and bring that risk down a little bit and put it into something else that we think in 2026 is going to do just as well, or at least if the market goes sideways, I'm not going to lose all that gain.
Yep.
Those are the kind of things that we think about. I think the main thing is don't procrastinate. We want you to look at that financially focused income plan. We're going to do Social Security planning. We're going to do tax planning. We still have to do tax planning. It's part of our overall scheme forever. We also need to take a look at Medicare, how Medicare is going to fit into your plan. We need to look at your assets. The whole thing needs to be a holistic plan to look at the whole round ball and see where you are.
And thinking long term, not just overnight. That's always an important part of smart goals as well. And having the plan, that's the equivalent of a checklist to make sure that you address everything. So those contribution levels, let's review those, the tax planning, the income strategies, the healthcare strategies, Medicare, Medicaid, insurance coverage, all that we have talked about on today's program. A successful financial year does not happen by accident, is intentional. It is through planning, and that is the goal of the financially focused written retirement income plan that they will do for you there at Gulf Coast Financial Services. No cost, no obligation, free of charge to put the plan together, ladies and gentlemen, to have the conversation. Give John Kuykendall and the team a call, 386-755-9018. That is 386-755-9018. Let's make 2026 about planning, about execution, and about confidence. And John, I know that you're a big part of that there with the team at Gulf Coast Financial Services.
Yeah, Peter, we try to be. We want our clients and the people that we talk to understand that income planning is so important, and we want to get it done now. We don't want to wait. And that is a living, breathing document that you have to adjust. I can't do it, I can't do it and have it set up for the rest of your life. We have to do that every year. We have to review that plan.
Well, best time to get it together and get organized is now, ladies and gentlemen. So give Gulf Coast Financial Services and John Kuykendall a call, 386-755-9018. If you have any questions or concerns, want to review, evaluate, or update your plan, 386-755-9018. John, always a pleasure. Every time we get to talk with you, every opportunity we have to stay and remember, be reminded to be financially focused. Thank you.
Well, Peter, it's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to a great 2026. I know there's going to be some volatility, but I know we're going to weather through it.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through GulfCoast Financial Services Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. GulfCoast Financial Services Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions. GulfCoast Financial Services Inc. has been named as Best of the Best since 2015 in the category of Best Financial Advisor in the Lake City, Florida area. The award was based on receiving the most votes in this category from a survey offered and tabulated by the Lake City Reporter. No direct or indirect compensation was provided to the Lake City Reporter and/or any raters, and the award is not contingent on future direct or indirect compensation offered to the newspaper and/or raters. Portfolio performance is not a criterion, and voting is open to any readers of the newspaper.